Hey, world of the internet. I hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to another week on Renewed, the live interactive streaming show where we workshop comedy. We workshop jokes. Tonight, I have a fantastic comedian and a good friend of mine. I'm very excited he was able to do this with us tonight. Please welcome my very good friend and hilarious comedian, Erik Knowles. How's it going, Erik?
What's up, Dan? How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. I'm excited. I'm excited to be here tonight and hang out with you.
Yeah, man. Me too. Absolutely. This is like, I never get to see comedians anymore. It's like, dude, there's one of me.
Right?
You know what I mean?
Yep.
I have never spent this much time among civilians. It's like really weird. It's like some kind of Twilight episode where everybody's starting to notice that I'm different.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny. I was talking to my fiance I was like, I've been more social since I've been forced to stay home than I was before.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm doing more online socializing than I ever did before.
That's for sure.
Man. All right. We already got some applause. Welcome us. Hey, Lauren, how's it going? Yeah. Lee, you weren't early. I was just running a few minutes behind. Yep.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, we got some viewers checking us out. So
this is cool. I've never StreamYarded before, so this is a pretty nice little setup.
It is. It's really good for the branding and everything. You can do your, put your social media tags on, the banners, the logos, all the jazz, all the bells and whistles.
We look like we're doing a Fox News alert, man. You got the ticker on the bottom. And
yeah, exactly.
You got two white men discussing stuff.
Yep, it's definitely Fox News. Complaining about our inconvenience, entitled, privileged lives.
I gotta drink water out of a jar. This is terrible. Look, so does Dan.
Man, I should be able to drink this water out of a glass at a bar. God damn it.
Yeah. In a bar. Hell yeah.
Oh, man, this is great. All right, well, the show is it's a live workshop, so we're going to go back and forth and work on some jokes. And then at the end, I like to do a little Q&A where the people watching get to ask some whatever questions. It's just a fun way to end it. So we'll go ahead and get into the workshop part of this. And I'm going to go ahead and let you take it away with the first thing you want to work on.
All right. I was kind of talking backstage. I don't really have full jokes, that's for sure. I have a premise, so I'm starting from zero with. I wrote this down: forgotten premises. I found a book and I went through and was like, oh yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. Well, if you're familiar with my act, you know that I'm more of a storyteller. A lot of times, I like to get into lengthy stories, and just one of the things I'd like to talk about is my posture. I think that a lot of people may be able to just relate to the struggle with posture. I don't know if you have ever noticed about me, but I'm like this is more of a standing acting out bit probably, but like I'm sway backed. I have the S-shaped. This is at rest. This is my comfort zone, and I look like I should be driving a chopper, like I have that terrible posture. And being in the Marines all those years, I just look like that guy's on drugs or something. I'm like, no, I'm just relaxed. Being in the Marines all those years helped, and I've been out for 15 years now, and a lot of it is wearing off. A lot of the discipline for sure, and the posture for sure. I don't know what's funny about that exactly.
Well, as an act,
it's something that's true to me.
Yeah, as an act out,
Right, I think I could really sell it there.
Because I was just imagining you standing there looking like an S, like you're all like
Yeah.
What was funny to me when you like slouched down, I was like, oh, that's like me trying to look over a fence on my tippy toes. But you could, but that's something you could, a direction you could go where it's like, you look like you're trying to look over something. Like your posture's got so bad, you look like a short person.
Right. All right.
And then
that could
there's
be
a suggestion too. Someone says, I look like the letter S, but with scoliosis.
right. It's like I have a bunch of siblings, and we all get together for the family reunion and just spell out our disease. Like my sister's a C, my brother's an O.
You should see us. I
got like 3 O's.
Like, you should see the looks we get when we're at the park.
Or when we go to the water park, we look like alphabet soup floating down the lazy river. All right, that's dumb. That's dumb.
That's funny. You could definitely do that and spell it out and just say, if we go to the water park, we just look like alphabet soup.
Hey, see, I can do this all day.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. We just look like alphabet soup floating down the lake. Yeah, I definitely think you have something with that if you like incorporate your family into it and that they look like different letters. Because I don't know why, but to me that is funny. That's a funny line.
Right, we spell out our disease.
We spell out our disease and we look like the alphabet soup in the lazy river.
S. I'm gonna put ABC soup.
Yeah, definitely.
Lazy river. That's good stuff.
That is. Water park,
right.
Lazy river.
We might come back to that.
Spell out our diseases. I like that.
Nice, thank you. All right, another thing I wanted to talk about was, I don't know if this about you. Have you ever been to jail? You ever been to the drunk tank?
I've not been to the drunk tank. I've
never checked into jail?
I have checked into jail and I went through booking. I know, everybody's shocked. They're like, holy shit, Bublitz has been to jail? I can see in the look in your face. But I did not go to actual jail. I just went through booking, and then they let me out on my own prerogative because I'm an upstanding citizen.
Just some white-collar shenanigans, probably.
It was a bad check.
just confusion in paperwork, sir. That's all this was.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
They actually... Go ahead.
I've actually been lucky enough to be inside the drunk tank 3 times. 3 times that I can remember. So, but I've never done any. I've always, just get picked up for like public intoxication at Pacific Beach. That happened to me once, and it happened once in Texas. I got public intox when I should have gotten a DUI, but he cut me a break. But anyways, long story short is I've never been to jail. I've never stayed long enough where they gave me a bed. But I've always, I've done the whole process where you stay in the drunk tank for 24 hours. And then the thing that I wanted to talk about is the last door. There's a whole system when they're getting you. They're like, okay, you think it's over. They're like, Knowles, come on. And I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, you're getting out. And it's like, sweet. And you have no idea. It's still 6 hours of going to one room to another. They just make you wait. And you can see them. There's always one little window you can look through, and you're waiting. Dude, hey, I'm over here. Hey, I'm ready to stop knocking. Okay, hey, I don't want no trouble. I'm just, But there's the last door that you finally get to, and you can look through the window and see the person who all they got to do is buzz you in and give you your bag of clothes or whatever. And they're literally, I remember watching this lady play on her MySpace. And like she would tease me. She would come back to the computer and look over and be like, "Oh, what?" and then walk away. And I remember being so angry. Like when I get out of here, I'm gonna, you know what? I'm just gonna come right back in because I'm gonna murder that bitch when I get out of the store. You know? And I'm like, no, just fucking let it go. Oh, like I was like raging. But then, and I've thought about that a lot since then. You know, just what an abuse of power. You know, just a demonstration of you give somebody a little bit of power. You know, but if I'm being honest, like I'm no better. I would be a dick too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you? I mean, it's just a bunch of dumbasses that got arrested for being drunk anyways. Like, what does she owe me? She's going to hurry up for me to let me out to my angry wife waiting outside?
It's like, just keep me in here.
Right.
It's funny because you could go like several ways with that too. Because you could go to it's like, you know, basically when you get booked, it's just like it's just like a waiting room. It's just one level of waiting after another. And then when you get to the final door where you're like, oh, I'm finally going to jail. They're like, all right, buddy, have a good night. And they let you out. And it's like, wait, I'm waiting all this time and you're not putting me in jail?
Right.
Like, it's almost like you didn't get the reward, even though the reward is going to jail.
That's interesting. Like they open the last door and it's outdoors. You're like, what the hell?
I thought I was going to jail. You made me wait 10 hours.
No, you can definitely tell you're in jail when you're in there.
Yeah.
Dude, that's the worst too. Because they're going to make you stay 24 hours if they think you're too drunk or whatever. So you're going to do 24 for sure. And that's if you don't cause any problems for them or anything else, you know. So you go to sleep for as long as you can, and you wake up, and you try to go to sleep again. It's freezing.
Sleep it off, yeah. You could also go in a route where, like, you could open it up where you're like, have you ever been to jail, and it got you so mad you wanted to go to jail? You know,
right. Like, yeah.
Have you ever been to a jail and it made you so mad you wanted to stay in jail and then talk about the power trip of the people there and the waiting?
Yeah.
Or you just want to go and murder them or whatever.
I do love that concept of just power corrupting people, you know, and I think we're all susceptible to it.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, because like, there's been times like road raging in my car. Like everybody's been at that place in traffic where it's like if your car had missiles, you would be lighting people up. You know what I mean?
Yep. I think about that a lot.
How many times I
push a button and just watch the car in front of me explode?
Like that machine gun on the Batmobile, just
till it explodes and it's out of your way.
So satisfying. It just explodes into nothingness. It's just out there. It's out of the way now.
Yep. Just pieces of debris, and I can zoom right through it.
Sorry, family. You were in the way.
Yep. Oh man. That's so funny. I like that too. Like they just the final door. It's like you're stuck in purgatory, and the lady just keeps tormenting you by like being on their phone or making it so they can see you can see what they're doing, being on social media or watching a movie. And that's another thing. You could go a route where it's like, oh yeah, and then they put on a movie, but you can't see it through the little window. You know they're watching a movie, but god damn it, you can't see what it is or hear it.
They do stuff like that in jail too. I was in one room that had a TV, and they did it three movies in a row, where they would let it get right to the apex of the storyline where you're about to find out who, and then they'll shut it off and start a whole new movie. Everybody's like, what happens to the guy? It's like, I'm like, what happens to us, man? That's what I want to know.
That's a funny thing too to add in there. Talking about that, because that's funny. It's like most of them are worried about what about the movie, and you're like, what about us? Why are we stuck here?
Jail TV. I used to hate that about the drive-ins in Santee. Do you ever go there to watch a movie?
Yep.
And they did that like right at the the crescendo of the movie. You know, it was like, and the killer is last call, snack bar closing in 5 minutes. it's like, oh, son of a bitch.
Everybody's
honking.
Shut up!
Yeah. Rewind it,
you bastards! Oh, that's so funny. Oh, all right. I got a bit that I want to. Oh, that's not the
good
notebook. All right, I'll switch it up. This is one that. This is a little dark, so I don't do it as often. But it has to do with my mom. So it's like. So the joke is. I feel like parents only have children so they can be grandparents. At least that's how it was with my mom. My mom really wanted to be a grandparent. And when I got married, she just constantly was hounding me about having children. You know, it started with questions like, well, when do you think you guys are going to have children? And then as time passed, we didn't have children. And those questions became statements and guilt tripping because she was really good at guilt tripping. And she would say things like, oh, I'm probably not going to have grandchildren before I die. You know, I'll probably die before I have grandchildren. Now, sadly, my mom did die. But the good news is I still don't have kids. So, I 1 point me, mom dead. So, yeah, that's pretty much the joke. It's super dark.
All right.
But super truthful. That is a true story about my mom. She used to
so your mom is
guilt trips.
What if she haunts you and just
Oh, that's funny.
But she's saying boo like because she's booing you. Boo on the grandkids.
I like that. I'm gonna write getting haunted by my mom for not having kids.
Oh. Dude, that is a lot of pressure, man. Parents don't understand how much. They just say little things like that. It's like, well, I guess I'm never gonna have grandkids. It's like, well, you should have made a better kid. Like, why are you hoping the grandkids are gonna be any better?
Yeah,
it's well, like, why aren't you impressed with me?
I feel like that's why parents want grandkids too. It's like, I fucked up with you. At least a grandkid's a second chance.
Right. They were like, yeah. The good genes skip a generation.
And then, with the too much pressure, it's be like, there's way too much pressure. I mean, I got to try to have sex with my wife without coming first. And now you want me to worry about impregnating her?
Yeah, seriously.
Right?
People don't know the troubles we go through.
It's no wonder men start having ED problems in their 30s.
Sorry, I didn't have much for you on that one.
No, that's okay. I like the haunted by mom though. Like I feel like that's an avenue that can be explored. I think there's some elements that can be
like anytime you're with anytime you're with a girl, she's like, "Don't pull out."
Yeah, exactly. I can still be a gross ma. Oh, I like that. Yeah, that's a good way to go. That's a funny way to go with it to lighten it up too, because it is kind of a dark joke. But then to be haunted by mom and just like I could do like a couple different examples of like, yeah, like whatever I'm with a lady, suddenly I'll hear things like "don't pull out" and like do the ghost voice, but give a couple different examples of it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. I'm gonna take those. That's the route I think I'm gonna go with that joke. I'm gonna work it out with the haunting because I think that's funny.
That is pretty funny.
Something there with now my mom just unfortunately my mom died. Good news is I still don't have kids. 1 point me, mom, dad. Bad news, now my mom haunts me.
There should be like a child rental service, or you should have borrowed one. You should have borrowed one of my kids. Before your mom
Right?
died, I would have lent you a kid.
Yeah, exactly.
She probably didn't have all her wits about her towards the end. She would have died happy. Finally,
right? I got
Dan had a little blonde-haired kid. I can't believe it.
Actually, that would not be surprising because when I was a little kid, when I was Lincoln's age, I was super blonde.
Oh, really?
Yes, I was a blonde kid. So it's crazy that my hair went dark as I got older. Yeah, it's crazy. Super.
Lincoln's is getting darker for sure.
Is it? Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Because my dad has blonde hair, so
he gets so mad when I call him a Texan. He says, "No, I'm a Californian. I was born in California." I was asking him today. I said, "Well, then what's the capital of California?" And he didn't know. So I was like, "You suck. You're not from California."
That's funny. Oh,
it's funny. He takes pride in it.
That's great. Oh man, I miss Lincoln. You better tell him I said hi.
I will.
If he remembers me. This is a suggestion on that. She
has better things in heaven.
And then we got
better what?
Or your kid would have been a pain. That would have been too hard on her. Yeah.
That's true.
Like, yeah. Maybe if I would have had a grandkid, she would have died sooner.
Oh.
That was terrible.
Dude, it's getting too dark, Dan. What else
sorry.
You got? Do that puppy joke.
Right? Cute little puppies. The other thing I was working on is a bit about growing up too fast. When I was a kid, I was in a hurry to get out of high school. So I graduated a year early. Now, when I tell people that, a lot of people think I'm smart. They're like, "Oh, this guy must be smart. He graduated early." But really, I'm not. I'm a dummy. The smart kids are the ones that stay in high school till they're 25. Because as soon as you get out of high school, you have to go live real life. That means get a job and pay bills. Nobody told me about that shit. Nobody, and it's like a sick joke that adults do. It's like, ha, another one came to our side, sucker. Nobody's like, "Hey, no, you should not be in a hurry to grow up." Instead, they're like, yeah, get out of high school, get a job.
That's
then you
true.
get out of high school and you have to get a job and start paying bills, and it's like, "Let me back in," and then the doors are locked, and the school admin's like, "We're gonna call security if you don't leave," and then suddenly you're banned from schools.
Damn. Doogie Howser should have been pissed. Yeah,
right.
Because Doogie Howser had to go straight to work at like 15. He's doing surgeries.
Yeah,
writing on and having a diary on a computer for the first blog ever. Remember that?
Yes. Oh my god,
that was like the first little blog.
It really was. Yeah, that's
the first time I remember it.
Yep. At least in a TV show. I mean, unless you consider Murder, She Wrote, where she was typing on the typewriter.
That counts. Yeah, that counts.
Oh Jesus. Yeah. But yeah, that's something I always thought about, because it's like adults don't, when you're a little kid and you try to be an adult, they think it's cute and adorable. And then as you get older, they don't really warn you. They're not like, 9 out of 10 adults are not telling people to worry about being young. They're just like, just sitting there silently laughing at the sucker that's about to come into the world.
Dude, I knew it, man. I knew it in high school. I remember telling my friends, like our senior year, they were like, what? Everybody was taking turns telling, like, "Man, I can't wait to get out of here. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that." And I was like, "You guys are idiots, man. Like, this is the time of our lives. Like, we look at our teachers, look at the adults. They are not having as much fun as us. Like, we don't care. Like, we're too young to prosecute, man. This is the sweet spot, man."
Yep. I don't know, for whatever reason I was like, I can get out of high school early. That sounds amazing. I don't have to live I don't have to be with these other kids.
Yep, that's how they get you, man.
I was like, oh, wait a minute. Wait. I have to pay bills now? Nobody told me about this.
Wait, what are taxes?
Taxes? What? Rent?
You're looking at your
you expect me to pay rent?
Seriously, water bill.
Yeah,
it's like water. Like the Earth's like 80% water. Why isn't that free? What the hell? Who sells the water? Who came up with that?
That's good. I'm gonna actually. I think that's the way I'm gonna do that. Go in the direction of listing all the different bills that you have to pay.
Oh yeah. What do you mean Netflix isn't free?
Like, I haven't paid for it my entire life. Why do I need to start now?
Yeah. All those things add up, man.
Yeah.
I'm so old now. You got to think about these things ahead of time. I was like,
yeah.
Is that what you did, Dad? Shut up. We're talking about you.
This isn't about me. This is about you.
Yeah. Look around this house, kids. Does it look like I planned anything? No. Dad's broadcasting from the laundry room right now, all right?
If I would have planned ahead, you might not have been here. Let's just say.
Right.
So you can thank me later, kid.
just do what I didn't do.
Yeah, exactly. Just look back at my life and everything I didn't do. Go do that.
Right. That's pretty much been my parenting philosophy. Like my 18-year-old asked me recently. He's like, my friends want me to do acid. Do you think I should? And I was like, well, I've never done acid, so yeah. I never tried it, and I'm struggling, man. Maybe open your mind early. I don't know. Try
it. might be worth it. It's funny because in my entire life, I've not really did drugs other than marijuana, which you know how that turned out for me because you were my roommate. Yeah. When that happened, when Sleepy Dan became a thing, you were my roommate.
The infamous summer.
Yeah. But aside from that, I really haven't did drugs, and I'm at that point where I'm like, man, I kind of want to do mushrooms just to see what it's like.
Right? Yeah, we get to that age where we're like, wait a minute, what's at the mountaintop though?
Yeah. You know? I'm down here at the base trying to find a place to climb. I want to know what's up there.
Yeah, man.
Where's the shortcut? Oh, man. Oh, too funny. You got another premise?
Kind of. Kind of. Let me see what I've written here. Like I thought. Oh, yeah. So, I was thinking about, I saw like a video or something where a girl like drops it like it's hot, where they do that drop down, you know, yep. that quick squat with their butt poked out, you know, they dropped it. And I was just thinking, like, how did that get started? Like, what is that mimicking? Like, you never see that in real life, really, but you do sometimes as a married man. Like when she gets her good pair of pants out of the dryer and she needs to stretch them to make them fit. You ever seen a lady do that? She'll put them on and just drop it like a bunch of times. I walked in on my wife like just dropping it. I'm like, what are you do? I'm like, what's up? Like, we're trying to leave. We don't have time for these shenanigans. You know, she's like, no, I'm trying to make my pants fit. Also, dustpan. Women drop it like it's hot to to sweep it into the dustpan. Which sounds like I'm going in a sexist direction, but these are just the places that I've seen.
Yeah.
My wife drop it like it's hot in the house. I need a third. I've only written down 2.
I mean, that's funny because you could go with the where you could be like, well, I never understood that drop it like it's hot or where that came from until I walked in on my wife. And then you can go through the examples. So it's not like, oh, women do this, but you can be like, I didn't realize it. So it becomes an observation. It's like, well, maybe that's where that dance came from, to drop it like it's hot.
Yeah.
But you definitely
I'd like to do that with all the dances, just scrutinize the name and, the stanky leg and whatever else is. Dude, these TikTok. Oh, yeah, I want to talk about TikToking. I can't wait to get back to crowds just so I can read them and understand, like, is everybody else going through this with it that has teenage girls where they can't stop moving ever? Like, I have a 13-year-old cheerleader in my house that just stands like this all day and just does little things, and I'm like, dude, sit still, stop TikToking at the table. And she's like, what? I'm not even on my phone. And she's saying something under her breath, and I'm like, what has possessed you? Get out of her. What is going on with my child? TikTok is crazy, dude.
Oh, that's
so annoying.
Oh, yeah, it's crazy. I still haven't downloaded it yet, so I feel pretty good about myself. I'm probably not gonna.
It's not for us. I'm so afraid I would just embarrass myself and go viral for the wrong reasons on there.
Although I was talking to another comedian on my podcast, Dusty Slay, shameless plug, who was talking about TikTok and how he's been using it to, he's been editing like 1-minute video clips of his stand-up and posting it on there. Like, he's not doing the silly dances and the typical TikTok stuff. He's been doing it to post little video clips, and he's got a huge following because of it. Which will translate to people coming to see him live. I mean, he's already got a pretty good following, but I guess I never thought about using it that way, because all you see for TikTok videos is people just dancing ridiculously. And that's all I thought it was.
I'm sure Dusty Slay is correct, and I'm sure he'll be very successful with that. I just don't think it's my cup of tea, and I don't know. I mean, maybe it could be. I'm probably missing the boat like I did with every other thing. What are we streaming on MySpace right now? I don't even know what we're doing.
Exactly. Welcome to MySpace. Have you met my top 8 yet?
Yeah, only Tom is watching. Tom and Tila Tequila, maybe. Who else is over there?
Oh, yeah, you know it. Hey, there's a good chance Dane Cook is hanging out.
Hey, I'm sure he's still there. He's over there like, hello! Hello! I'm still here!
That you made me famous. I'll never let you go.
Dude. I know Dane misses MySpace way more than I do.
Oh, I'm sure.
I really lost a good thing with MySpace, man. I know I date myself and sound really old, but like, that's when I was first starting comedy, man. MySpace was that's what we were all doing. That was the platform we were all on, and it was so good for a local stand-up. I had over 5,000 friends who lived in San Diego, who were of the right ages. They were between 21 and 40, and they all loved comedy. And I would just post a thing, and they would show up. Like, it was awesome. Now it's like I have to pay to talk to my fans and my friends on Facebook. Like, it's getting.
Yep.
I don't know. We're getting off subject. We can go back to workshopping.
This is a good little off-topic thing, because it really is. I remember MySpace, but I wasn't in entertainment when MySpace was around. So, like, I didn't, obviously I didn't use it, but I know a lot of musicians and a lot of performers who did well because of MySpace. But now
I was killing it.
Social media now is, with the algorithms and stuff, it's not set up to help people succeed. It's set up to help people pay money, essentially.
Yeah. It's just gathering our data, and then we have to pay to access it.
Yep.
I'm getting pretty fed up. I think what I want to do is just choose one platform, like maybe Patreon or something like that, and then just delete everything else. So that when you search my name, the only thing that comes up is the place, because now there's like so many, I'm spinning so many plates. I got my Instagram thing going, and I got to say something on Twitter every so often, and Facebook and Facebook fan page, and then there's groups, podcasts. It's
way too much. That's for sure. And then when you start a podcast, you need all those things for the podcast.
Right, yeah. Then they're like, well, you got to make a Twitter for your podcast. It's like, no.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Do you have to though?
Oh yeah. I'm there. I know. I do so much managing of social media, different accounts. It's like, but I try to concentrate on one thing. You know what I mean? Like I put more. Like, I'll still put a tweet out once in a while, and I'll do stuff, on Facebook or whatever, just because I know there's people there. But I really focus more on Instagram more than anything, just because personally, I think it's a better platform just because there's not as much drama on Twitter. But
yeah,
I got one more bit that I wanted to work on, and then that's all I got. All right, so I'll do this last bit, and then if you got something else, we can go back and forth for a little bit, or we can just open it up to questions from the audience. But first, so this is a bit, I'll just do the joke. So I'm a college student, and I know what you're thinking. I don't look like a typical college student, and you're right. I'm not a typical college student because I'm an online college student. I know. I look like I should teach online college, but I am an online college student, and I couldn't be a typical college student because there's no way that I could go to college with young people. Not because I have anything against young people, except they're young and they have their whole lives ahead of them, and I don't. Now, here's the thing, though. I think kids shouldn't go to school right out of high school. I think people should wait till they're my age to go to college. And I'll tell you why, because this is a little bit of a life hack. I'm not going to probably live long enough to pay my student debt back.
I like that part for sure.
It's got a long build-up. Oh, and then I was also thinking about a thing where, like, if there was ever a zombie apocalypse, I guarantee you it's going to be because of a bill collector starting it. They're going to be like, you need to come back to life and pay your debts. Yeah. Like, I know you were a zombie for 20 years, but you didn't pay everything.
That's funny. Do you know there's such a thing as zombie debt? What they call zombie debt? Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah, where like your family has to pay your
right. Or sometimes they'll dig up this old debt and try to scare you with it. And the truth is, the zombie can't kill you. They can't make you. It's some non-payable thing. But they'll call and really threaten you. I was going through that for a long time, and then I found out that's just zombie debt. Like you don't have to pay that.
Huh. Interesting. I'm gonna write that down because I might.
I don't know if everybody's aware enough of that, but yeah, that might be a possibility for a pun or a play on words or something. But I really like the idea that you're not going to live long enough to pay it off anyway. So that's your plan, right? Yeah,
like
that's your financial plan.
My financial plan is I'm not going to live long enough to pay the student debt back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny, man.
Yeah, I gotta cut that first. Like, I gotta get to that faster is one of the things.
Yeah, you're a little wordy in the middle. You can trim some words out of there. Like you said, let's see. You said, I don't want to go to college because it's filled with young people. Not that I have a problem with young people. It's just that they're young.
Yeah, which I could probably cut all that out because it's not, because that's really the part where I don't get. Sometimes I get a good reaction.
I think you should just say it right up front that you do have a problem with young people, and here's why. Because they have their whole life ahead of them, So just own it. Have more of an opinion than trying to. I'm not saying this, but I am saying it.
Oh, okay.
I've been studying a lot of Bill Burr. He makes a lot of affirmative statements.
Okay, I'm gonna take that note.
So take it with a grain of salt.
No, it's worth trying. It's either try it that way or just cut it completely and do the first part where I'm a college student. I don't look like a traditional college student because I'm not. I go to online college. I think I look like I should teach online college is funny, and then I could go skip this, young people and just go right into the plan not to pay the student debt back.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it. That's got legs. You should try that if they ever lift the lockdown. You should try that someday. In the afterworld.
Right? In the new world, I should try that.
Yeah. Too. I hope there's comedy clubs in the new world.
Yeah, me too. Comedy clubs and bars that do comedy.
I'll have to look through Agenda 21 and see if there's comedy clubs in there.
Oh man, yeah.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, Google Agenda 21. Oh no, Eric's getting weird again.
It's like, oh man, how old are these guys? Well, obviously they're on Facebook and not TikTok, so we know.
Yeah.
Oh, and they were talking about MySpace. These guys are ancient.
Right, they logged out a long time ago. They're like, next.
Yeah, as soon as you said anything about MySpace, everybody was like, we're done watching this.
Yeah, they're like, ew, get it off.
That's too funny.
It's probably got a Trojan virus on it.
Yeah.
It's gonna erase my floppy disk.
This is a trap. Oh man, this is great. Well, that's all I got. Do you have anything else? Because if not, we'll open it up.
Nah.
See if anybody. All right. Well, if anybody that's watching right now wants to shoot us a couple questions, we'll hang out for a little bit and answer them. Otherwise, we're going to wrap up tonight and move on to the other things. So we'll see. There's a few people watching. So again, if you guys have any questions, let's throw them out there. This is a good opportunity. If you want some knowledge about comedy, this would be a good opportunity to ask some questions. Erik Knowles is a nationally touring headliner. He won the World Series of Comedy. He's been on TV. He's been around the world. He performs for the troops all the time. He's part of the Veterans of Comedy. If you want to know some comedy, this is the time to ask it. He's legit got the knowledge to share.
I love talking shop, too. I love talking comedy.
He does. Yeah, it's funny because the first time we actually met was at the Comedy Palace open mic, and then I started writing for this blog. You let me interview you.
Ah, that's right.
Yep.
I do remember that. What was it? Do you remember the name of that, or you not want to say what it was?
Well, it was Art Lab, but I don't know if because the place closed, so I don't know if the blog is still there. But yeah,
I have that effect on things.
I don't think
a lot of places just shut down after they stop talking to me. How long have I been doing comedy? Lauren Rice says, "How long have I been doing comedy?" I think I'm at 15 years. Like it's getting to be so many years that I'm not really like paying attention to it. I'm like, hey, I've been doing this for like a decade. but I think I'm at 15.
Have you got to the point where you're afraid to admit how long you've been doing it? Like,
well, right.
People will ask me how long you've been doing comedy. I'm like, God damn, I don't know if I want to say because I feel like maybe I should be further along in my career. Right.
They're like, well, 15 years? Why haven't I heard of you? I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah,
because
exactly. It's like, where have you been for the last 15 years?
Yeah, I am kind of an unknown name amongst just regular people, but I'm well known amongst the military and amongst veterans. I actually gave up, a few opportunities to, I've had some TV type opportunities where I had to kind of make the choice to go and entertain the troops instead. I had a once in a lifetime chance to go overseas and entertain the troops, or to get involved with this TV thing that maybe would have made you heard of me. But I chose the entertaining the troops thing, and that's just been more fulfilling to me, not monetarily for sure, but it has been very fulfilling.
Yeah, I was gonna say sometimes it's not all about the money. I mean, and I think within comedy, I feel like you're pretty well known. I feel like a lot of people within the
That's
comedy
true.
industry know who you are. You're right. The regular people might not necessarily know who you are, but people in the industry definitely know who you are because you're one
Yeah,
of the
that's probably true.
you are a really good performer. You're one of the best performers. I mean, and I can attest to this. This isn't just me sucking up because he's my friend, but I watched this man get a standing ovation at 2:00 in the afternoon for a church.
Oh, that's right.
And he wasn't
That's
even
right.
the headliner; he was the middle act. So
Yeah, yeah.
I got that shit on tape.
Remember the guy that had to go on after me? It was pretty bad. Yeah, it was just one of those. It was a great one for sure. That was a great show.
Oh yeah, one of my.
And that's that's the only like legit standing O that I have on tape, and it's only because you were recording, and you just let it run. You didn't even let me know you were recording until afterwards, which is great.
Yeah.
Which is great because I didn't even have it in my mind. You know, I was just in my element and just having fun, and man, the place went wild.
Oh yeah,
and
it was funny because then when we were standing outside after your set, and the other guy was up, this lady came out and she was just like complaining. She's like, "You guys were so funny because you weren't talking about race because it doesn't matter, and he's in there talking about black people this, white people that."
yeah. He was trying too hard.
Yeah. Well,
I'll tell you what we'll do for the listeners. If your listeners, after this, we'll go over to my Facebook page at Erik Knowles Comedy. After this is over, I'll link to that video.
Oh, there you go.
We're talking about.
You can check it out. We do have another
so somebody
question,
can check that out.
Too.
All right.
So Lauren Rice wants to know, what is your best advice for a comedian who just started?
Quit. No, I'm just kidding. Get out of the way.
I know that was going to be the answer.
Stop competing against us. Yeah. No. My best advice for a comedian, I really envy you being a comedian who just started, because the landscape is totally different than it was when I first started. There's so much potential. I would just say that get as much stage time as you can. And just enjoy it. Okay, here's a piece of advice that you might not hear from anybody else. If you're just starting stand-up, study graphic design. Learn graphic design. I went to a graphic design school just to use my GI Bill. And I signed up for whatever the next school was going to be. And I almost went to like massage school, which I'm glad I didn't do.
I can just see you.
Can you imagine?
Going touring to do comedy and trying to side hustle during the day to do massages.
Yeah, that would suck, dude. But in graphic design school, I went to Platt College in San Diego, and it turned out to be everything I had been needing to know. Like one of our first assignments was to create album art cover for an iTunes album. We had to make it up to specifications to be able to put it right onto iTunes. And then we had to build a website. So I just started doing all this stuff for myself and getting a grade for it. I built a website. I built album covers and submitted them to iTunes and just all that stuff. And just design in general. Because if you're one of these people that can make a flyer really fast and that can make promotional materials for yourself, that's valuable. But also doing it for other comedians is a good way to get onto a show that you might not have gotten looked at for otherwise.
Absolutely. No, that's a really good point. You're right, because it's the same.
And the comedy stuff will come naturally. You'll figure all of those out through trial and error. Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's fine. I was just gonna say another thing is having a driver's license in a car will help you get booked too.
Well, that's yeah. I did it without that for a long time. I've done it. I've tried it all different ways.
There's a lot of headliners that can't drive, and they have to they'll be like, "Hey, you give me a ride to this show, I'll get you some time."
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's true, and a lot of them, lost their licenses for different reasons. But so pay attention to that too. Like, don't drink too much out in the scene, especially a young lady. I would say. I mean, I don't know if that's
Yeah.
okay to say. Lady. I mean, I think it's okay to show concern for a young lady in the industry. I mean, not just because of the obvious things, but just it's really all about having people respect you. And I've made a lot of mistakes in my early years, just being loose with my mouth. You know, at the end of the night, once your show's over, your work day isn't over. You still have to hang out and schmooze and smoke joints in the parking lot. Like, all of that stuff really counts. And you gotta, I don't know. I've just seen it turn ugly.
Oh yeah, just absolutely.
With drinking too much, you know. I'm old.
Definitely embarrassed myself drinking too much.
Well, I know I have, and that's for a whole different podcast.
Yeah. We could do a whole podcast about drunk stories at the Comedy Palace.
Yeah. Welcome to Blacked Out with Dan Bublitz.
Hey. Where he brings on a guest to remind him of what happened.
Right. Remind me of the worst time I pissed you off when I was drunk.
You tell me what happened.
First guest, Jesse Egan.
Oh shit, the times. Oh my god, I miss you. I miss getting this to you. This is great. We got another question. Lauren's got all kinds of them tonight. So what has been your favorite, or what has your favorite show been? There we go.
I wonder what she means. TV shows?
No, I think she means
comedy. Like the
one of my favorite shows was honestly the day you got the standing O, because right before you, I had a great set. Like, I thought that host show was going to be terrible because of all the different factors that went into it. It was
it had all the elements of a bad show.
It absolutely did. I was like, this is going to be terrible. We're doing a fundraiser.
Let's tell the viewers a little bit more about it. It was during the day. Yeah, it was like 12:30. It was a lunch crowd.
Just got out of church.
It was a mostly like 98% black church audience. They were all dressed up. They just been to church.
Yep.
They were in a good mood, you know. Yep, and they got loose, man.
Yes,
they got loose, and they were a great crowd.
People were like falling out of their fucking seats and just hooting and hollering and clapping and having a good time. I was just like, wow, what is this?
That is a good one.
Not expecting this. And then, like I said, and then watching you do your thing and then get a standing ovation in the middle of the day, I was just like, wow. One of the best shows ever.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. I think my favorite shows have been in the same venue twice. There's a place out near Sacramento in Elk Grove. It's booked by the lady who books Laughs Unlimited, the comedy club in Sacramento. But like twice she's had me come out and headline this show that she does. It's in an amphitheater, like an outdoor amphitheater, and it seats, I don't know, like hundreds, a bunch of hundreds, you know, probably not 1,000, but there's 500 or 600 people out there. And it's, you got to be clean, you know, and I have to do an hour. And it's like that clean hour has been so elusive for me. I do it all the time, but it's been hard for me to get it on tape. I haven't been able to get one together for Dry Bar. You know, he told me he wanted an hour clean. And you know, in comedy clubs, I'll do like 50 minutes and then slip, you know, and be like, "Fuck yeah, damn it, no," you know, or whatever. Yeah. But at that place, it's just so easy. I don't know. It's just like I don't record there, so I know that you can't record there, I guess. So there's just not that that stigma of like, oh, I need to get the tape. I don't know. It's hard to explain it, but I've had the best shows there where I just meet everyone afterwards, and they all have a special story to tell me about the way that my act, you know, connects to their lives, and yeah, those are probably my two favorites, but it's really hard to narrow it down. I mean, I could easily say like one of the shows I've done overseas for the troops. Like there's been some great ones where we've performed in big theaters on the bases, and some really great ones where we're just performing like next to their workspace. Like, hey guys, figured we'd come in here while you're loading bombs and tell you some dick jokes, you know. And like those have turned out to be some of the some of the best shows. Yeah, I don't know. I'm very grateful. I love every one of them. I think my favorite show is the next one. You know, that every time.
Oh, that's awesome. That is a good way to look at it too. I like that. I like that perspective that the next show should be the favorite one, because it means you're still doing it, you know, and that's
right.
To be able to.
Some of my favorites. Some of my favorites wouldn't even be like the best shows where where everything worked well and everybody loved it. You know, sometimes the best shows are ones where I've learned something. You know, where I've said the wrong thing or done something in the wrong order or made some mistake, because, you know, like when you're traveling on the road and just doing the same show, you know, 6 times in a weekend at a club, and, you know, the next weekend the same thing, it kind of becomes like this song that you're tired of singing almost, you know, this melody of da, 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 you know, I know it goes like this, and then you do the act, and I like when something different happens, and just, you know, to like make something organic happen in the room.
Yep.
Which is why I like to eat mushrooms.
Right before you go on stage.
Yeah. Hey guys.
Yeah, Lauren liked that answer. Love the mentality. That's awesome.
Right.
Yeah. I have to say, like, as far as like favorite shows go, for me, I mean, I've had a few that have been really good, and I'm sure if I thought about it, I could probably pick a few or whatever. Like, well, one for me was being able to tape for Laughs, the TV show. Even though my segment never aired, it was still a really cool experience. You know, like I had what I felt like was a really good set. I got to hang out with Zoltan, and I met DJ Dangler, and I got to hang out with Mike Malone that night, and then my car broke down and I got an adventure with Zoltan like afterwards. So it was like all these little things, because sometimes it's not even the show, it's the little adventures that happen along the way or after, you know. Like another really fun experience for me was when you, me, Will C, and Brian Simpson were going to perform on the military base in San Diego. I just
lost your audio. I'm not hearing you all of a sudden.
Oh,
I don't know what happened.
Can you hear me now? Uh-oh.
Hello?
Can you hear me now?
Could it be me? Maybe I did something. I don't think I did anything.
I don't think I'm muted. Oh, we had a technical issue.
Still not hearing anything. I think we said all the funny things we can say anyway. I think this is a sign from God. He's like giving us the light.
Oh, she can still hear both of us.
I'm not using Wi-Fi, and my signal just dropped down a bit. That may be what it is.
That's probably it.
All
right. Well, if he can't hear me, you guys can. I'll do this real quick. I was with Erik Knowles and a couple other comedians, and we got searched on our way into the base, and it was pretty entertaining. But we are going to go ahead and end this because, you know, if we can't communicate, I don't know what's going to happen. So thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you next Tuesday with an all new Renewed.
Still not doing nothing.